filmmakers, fans, and friends to Indie Cinema Showcase. We're your hosts, Christina Carmona.
And I'm Nando Luis Romo.
For the next 3 days, we're going to be hanging out at the 15th Annual Central Florida Film Festival, happening right here at Epic Theaters in Mount Dora.
We'll be checking out some films, catching up with filmmakers, sitting in on some panels, and chatting with festival director Brendan Rodgers.
It's going to be an exciting weekend for sure, so don't go anywhere. You ready to catch some films?
You got the snacks? You got some money?
Hey guys, I am here with the main man in charge, Festival Director Brendan Rodgers. Brendan, thank you for chatting with me today.
Thank you for being here. We're super thrilled that you're here. You weren't here, I don't think. Well, you were here, and Nando was here last year. You presented an award. We had you on a panel, but ICS wasn't here.
No, ICS was not, but we're here now, and hopefully we get to be here for the next one.
Yeah, you should. We plan to. I mean, it's been a crazy year. We're surprised we're here this year.
All right, so let's get right into it. This is the 15th Annual Central Florida Film Festival. How has CenFlo changed over the years? Can you give us a brief history of that?
Sure. Well, CenFlo was founded by Bob Cook and Brandon Arrington 15 years ago. Their inaugural year, or CenFlo's inaugural year, was at the Osceola Center for the Arts in Kissimmee. It grew, it moved to the West Orange Cinemas in Ocoee, and that's where we first, as filmmakers submitting films, came to know CenFlo. And then the next year, we had another film in the festival, and Bob, I guess it was right at the time where Bob wanted to get back into making movies instead of running the festival, and he and I were meeting about producing a feature, and right in the middle of that meeting he asked, hey, would you be interested in taking it over? I was sort of thinking about retiring next year, and that was that. And then we moved it here to Mount Dora in 2018 was our inaugural year here in Mount Dora. The venue is obviously, it's a very large venue, and it also accommodates things like our networking parties, which they've always been a major component for CenFlo.
Right, and fantastic. I mean, this is a beautiful theater, brand new last year, correct? Or 2 years ago, 2 years ago. So that being said, you guys decided on a live festival. What made you go that route versus the virtual that I know other festivals have been doing? Do you also have a online screening?
No, we're fully in person this year. The answer to your question is twofold. One is that a lot of theaters this year, and it's unfortunate that a lot of theaters were shuttered with COVID, but Epic, when we knew that Epic would be open, we thought that would be a great opportunity, because one of the things for our filmmakers that makes live festivals so important is the networking component to the festival itself. And when we realized that we could, that's when we opted for the decision to do it. And also, if we were to postpone, when are we going to postpone to? Like, who knows when it's going to be safe to go back out, and, you know, when quarantines lift and restrictions lift. So we felt if we're going to do it, we should just do it. And we had moved the festival anyway out of September, because it had historically, up until our 14th festival last year, been in September. We moved it, unrelated to COVID, we moved it because of hurricane season. And it was just a better time of the year. And with everything else, the filmmaking landscape and the exhibition landscape in Central Florida is really crowded from, say, March, April on, whereas January there was nothing. So when we put an exploratory committee together to start looking at when to move the festival, it was agreed that November or January. And so our board said, do it in January, it's after the holidays, it's easier, people can plan around the holidays for it. And so we did, and that was sort of where we ended up. And when COVID, really broke out, we weren't sure, about a year or so ago, like, is this going to affect us? Is it going to be gone by then? Is it going to be worse by then? So that's why we stayed on the fixed dates and then just put our COVID precautions in place to make sure that our guests and our pass holders, our filmmakers, all stay safe for the weekend.
I think that's a fantastic decision because we all miss that. But I think even better because Epic Theater is pretty epic in the size, right? It works out perfectly for that too. So you mentioned before about the lounges and the events. For filmmakers who've never been to Senflow, maybe they're thinking about it, or people who want to come and see some independent films, what can they expect from Senflow?
Well, we try to have a very filmmaker-centric, fun 3-day weekend. It's not highbrow, it's not, overly sophisticated or whatever. It's about enjoying and celebrating the films and creating an environment that the filmmakers can network in.
Now, I'm going to get an exclusive tip from Brendan. So when
No pressure.
So when a filmmaker is looking to send in to Senflow, now I believe you guys were named one of the 25 film festivals to spend your money on. Yeah. For filmmakers that want to submit, what is something that they can do to maybe stand out? What do you look for?
Well, we definitely look for variety, we look for originality, we look for, stuff that surprises us more than anything. Because if the committee that does the selection, we're all filmmakers, if something catches them by surprise and grips them, it almost always makes it in. I think the most important thing, though, to make sure for film, especially new filmmakers, is make sure to pay your sound guy. Because the one thing that stands out is sound. Actors can make crazy decisions, directors can film things in weird ways, it could be artistic interpretation, but bad sound is bad sound. It's completely technical. So if nothing will pull you out of a movie faster than the audio upcutting or some kind of, lack of continuity with the sound, anything like that. That's like the one thing that pulls us out more than anything.
All right, so you heard it here, sound guys, that's super important. Now with that being said, people who are fans of independent film and filmmakers themselves, where can they find out more information about Senflow and how to submit when you're going to be, opening up submissions again?
So we're going to open up submissions for the 16th annual festival on February 15th, and that will run through October 1st, and that's on Film Freeway. People can either visit our webpage or centralfloridafilmfestival.com. There is a link once we open submissions to our portal on Film Freeway, or they can go on Film Freeway directly and look us up under Central Florida Film Festival and just click submit.
Well, thank you so much for taking some time to speak with me. We really appreciate it. All right, guys, I am here with the admissions rep and admissions director for the Dave School, Nick and Veronica. Thank you so much for chatting with me today.
Oh, thank you for having us.
Of course. So tell me, what is the Dave School for people that might not know, and what brings you here to Central Florida Film Festival?
The Dave School is a digital animation and visual effects school. We have multiple programs, both in game production and visual effects, that teach the pipeline for both of those programs. And is a great tool to get students that are looking to venture into that industry, into animation and modeling and compositing, to be able to do the things that you see here in some of these features.
Fantastic. And what brought you here? Are you guys speaking on a panel?
Well, actually, we're going to be presenting general information on our school to the public and to those who are participating today, because not a lot of people know who Dave is or what Dave does. one of the significant aspects about our school is we're located on the back lot of Universal Studios. So we teach an authentic production studio atmosphere for our students, which allows them to transition into their career path, whether it's in game production or video effects production, rather seamlessly.
That's wonderful. Now, for somebody that might be interested in it, do they have to have some type of background in it, or can they start from scratch with you guys?
They can start from scratch. I always tell prospects who are interested in our school, if they come with two attributes. One is a creative mind, not necessarily have to be a fantastic artist or drawer or something like that, and the ability to problem solve. Because when you're working on production pipelines, you're working on deadlines and timelines to get assets created for whatever project they're working on, it's not always going to go smooth. So the ability to create and think on the fly and problem solve, because they'll be working in teams to create their asset, is extremely vital. But other than that, we take them from start to finish through the program.
Now, on average, how long are the programs? Do you have like 12 months?
They are 12-month programs. They're split up into 4 blocks. Each block is 12 weeks in length. So after 48 weeks, they are career ready. So they'll have a working demo reel that they'd be able to submit to studios, and they'll be able to get a job.
That's absolutely fantastic, and I think that's so important for everybody to know. Guys, the Dave School, wonderful. Thank you so much for chatting with me. I look forward to seeing work come from the Dave School. I know we've seen some really cool shorts. So your filmmakers are doing some really cool stuff. So where can people find information about the Dave School, or maybe your students and what they're doing?
You can go to our website, daveschool.com. On our website, you're going to see testimonials from our most recent grads, the kind of work that they're doing, where they're going, where they started from. I just got word the other day that we have some grads that worked on Wonder Woman 84. So, I mean, and that's just to name a few. I mean, we could go on, and our presentation today will showcase the work that our students have done in the projects that they've done, not only in the gaming industry, but the motion picture industry as well.
I look forward to checking that out. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey guys, so I'm here with Jamie Holmes. Jamie, thank you for joining us today. So what brings you to the Central Florida Film Festival?
I got invited to join the panel here to talk about how I had adapted The Last Disciple, my book, into a screenplay, and the process essentially of turning a novel into a screenplay. And then there were other members of the panel there that talked about kind of the reverse, turning a screenplay into a book. So basically adapting literary mediums.
Now, what originally inspired you to actually write the book?
Truthfully, this was a dream I had when I was like 13 years old, and I was kind of haunted by it until I said, I got to do something with this because I can't get this vision out of my mind. The last couple pages of the book essentially were the dream that I had as a kid. Everything else was the plotting and the creation of 5 years of lots of work to be able to get up to that final 2 pages.
Now, when you started adapting it as a screenplay, how did that come about? Did you want to really turn this into like a film, or is it something more behind that?
Well, I only intended it essentially to be a book at first, and then the series of books, the trilogy that I always knew I was going to, basically knew I was going to write. But in the reviews for the book, it was pretty much a consistent theme. This is a movie, this is a movie, this is a movie. And visually, it presents itself that way. The chapters are very short. It's almost like episodic. Every chapter just goes really quickly. So I thought, okay, let me throw my hat in the ring here and see what I can do, and see if this kind of is at least another calling card I have, a la a Game of Thrones, to be able to take the book into HBO show, and then all of a sudden, oh my God, everybody's interested in the book. So that was kind of the thought process in going through it. It's hard. It's really hard to take a book that's 400 pages long and cut down the meat to basically 100. And I cheated. I went to the full 120 pages. Truthfully, it's probably about 90 to 110 that I should be really, looking for. But it's hard. It's really hard to basically kill a lot more babies when you know that you've already made them.
Well, thank you for joining us. If we want to
you.
find out more information about the book or where we can get it, where would we go?
It's any retailer, essentially, Barnes & Noble, but Amazon is probably your best bet. So Last Disciple, James Holmes, Google it and check it out.
Thank you. We hope to see it on the big screen someday. So,
Me too.
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, hey guys, I'm here with George Lopez, a student film director from Miami-Dade. You have your documentary here. Can you tell us a little bit about your doc?
Well, my documentary is about a Cuban band that formed here in Miami from Cuban exiles that came here from the 60s and 70s. They were very popular by the Cubanos, El Open Houses, just to give back a piece of the Cuban heritage and reminisce about a time when Cuba was lively and partying and all that stuff. So, but in a sense, it's about culture, musicality, and all in all family, because it has some of my family members in it too.
You're doing that. You did this for a student project.
Yes.
Over in school. So when you told your father and your uncle, you said, correct?
Yes.
When you said you wanted to do a documentary on them and their band, how did they feel about that?
Well, my dad was a little hesitant. He's saying like, "Oh, why would you do that?" We were pretty much nobodies and all that stuff, and so my uncle was all for it, but my dad was saying, "Oh no, don't necessarily do any of that." But then, as time went on, he began to ease up to the idea because it's talking about history, and this is something that I wanted to explain and express, saying that this was a piece of forgotten Miami history, a piece of South Florida history that's been pretty much forgotten. So it's up to me to bring that up to life.
Fantastic and very well done. Is this your first film?
Yes, it is. It's my first film, and I got to share the director credit with my co-director, Michael J. L. Machozo.
Very nice. And now, is this the first festival it's screened at so far?
No, it hasn't. It has gotten accepted to 7 other film festivals. However, this was the second film festival that the film has gotten accepted to. So there you go.
Fantastic. Congratulations. How did it feel to watch it on the big screen, especially such a story that's close to you?
It felt a little nerve-wracking because seeing my film on a big screen like this is kind of, like I said, nerve-wracking, but it's also very humbling too, because it's just, I don't know, it's just a compelling story that everyone needs to see. So
fantastic. Well, I wish you the best of luck, guys. George Lopez, the other George Lopez, needs to watch out because this one's on the way. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey guys, so I'm here with fellow filmmakers. Let's talk to them real quick. Guys, thank you for joining us today. So tell us a little bit about what you're doing here at Sunflow.
Well, we have 2 films in the film festival.
Jerk Boss and Passion Heart.
Now, what are the films about?
Jerk Boss is a comedy, a short. They're both shorts, and Passion Heart is a dramatic short. Passion Heart is the journey of a young woman who has an end goal in mind, but is really struggling and doesn't think she can make it until she pushes herself to make it.
Now, what inspired coming up with this idea?
Well, basically, I'm not supposed to be here at a film festival right now. Basically, what happened was I own a photography business. And basically, I wanted to make promos to show drone footage could mix with my camera footage. So I wanted to make promos to advertise for my business. And I started looking at the footage. I was like, why don't we make these a little longer and put like a little narrative to it? And we have like a little short film. That's what happened.
That was first with Passion Heart, right? And then we wanted to give it another go for a promo again for Jerk Boss. But then on the car ride up to the location for filming, he started coming up with a whole script.
Yeah, it was a
whole
long drive.
story. Yeah, it was like a 2-hour drive. And so he started coming up with character names, a whole plot lines go down, and the different actors that we could have in it and how we could film it. So he just started developing it on that 2-hour car ride, and that was what turned into the comedic short, Jerk Boss.
All right, so I'm going to turn it over to this side over here. So I have to know, which one of you is the Jerk Boss? Why?
I guess it comes kind of naturally to me. I don't know. And originally, I wasn't even going to be in the film other than a little audio. But then, as they're adding to it, they decided they wanted to put me in it. And then, really, I never even met John. I hadn't met John through the whole production. They fed me his lines, and then I just ad-libbed off of it as the jerk boss. And then they edited, what they liked best to put that into it.
So how was it for you?
For me, it was a lot of fun. Not only to go to an off-road park to take the Jeep out there and get it really, really muddy, which is a pain to detail afterwards. Literally, everything was covered in mud and crevices you don't want to know. But driving back and forth, these guys are awesome because I would drive, and then all of a sudden, Helena would call me and be like, all right, John, Ken wants one more. So I'm like, all right. So I turn around, make a U-turn, come back. All right, John, I think we got it. You know what? Let's do one more. So it was just back and forth. I'm going to make him T-shirts about this.
Well, thank you guys for joining me today. I hope you guys need to definitely check out Jerk Boss. And what was the other one again?
Passion Heart.
Passion Heart. So check out these two great films. And if we want to find out more information about your films, where can we go?
Look up Montano Productions. You'll find our films listed on IMDb. YouTube, we have the Montano Productions page. We're on Twitter, which is under Montano Movies. Instagram, Montano Productions, and Facebook, Montano Productions.
Yeah, all social media.
Well, thank you for joining me today. We hope to see a lot more from you guys. We'll definitely be keeping an eye on you, okay? Thank you, guys. Thank you.
So, hey, guys, I am here with Anthony Consolo. Anthony, thank you for joining me today. So, what brings you here to Sunflow?
I have two films in the festival tonight. I have Father's Time, which I wrote and starred in and also produced. And then we have Spy Guys, that was for a 48-hour film festival I did a year or two ago with T.L. Westgate.
Very nice, too. So that's pretty cool. Now, let's talk about Father's Time. What's it about?
Basically, it's about a man who is, he goes at far lengths to save another man. And you just try to, you go on this journey with this man who is at first eager, then you see him desperate, and then you see him at his worst trying to figure out how to save this person, and he doesn't know how to do it.
Now, what inspired this story? Because it seems very, very heartfelt.
My father. I can't say any more because I'm going to start crying. Yeah.
No worries. I mean, so then it's true when people say, like, some of the most heartfelt, the truest stories are the things that happen in real life.
Well, yes, it does, but this movie is nothing based on my father's life. It just, he was the inspiration for this film. So, yeah.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So, is that what made you want to also act in it?
Yes, it did, very much so. I just wanted to do a just something nice for his memory, and for actually my family's memory as well. Just not my family's memory, but for my family as well. So it's an entire love letter to everyone. It started out just for him, but then it's for my brothers, my sisters, my mother, everybody in my family, and it's just a big thank you for the love that you guys given me. That's basically what it is.
Now, for filmmakers who are writing something or producing something, you've done it all for this film. What tips can you give them for taking on all of those roles?
A good pen. Just keep it in your mind that what you want to write, and write what you know. Don't write something that you don't know, because if you write something that you know, it comes off easier, and it's much more. It flows better, and you just can. It just feels good as you're doing it, you know.
Fantastic. Well, where can we find any information that you might have for both films?
Well, there's Father's Time is on Facebook. You can look it up for that on that line, for that name. I'm sorry. And then for TL's film, I think Intuitive Incorporated is his film logo, something like that. I don't know. TL Westgate. Look for him. He's done lots of stuff.
Creative Inlet, I think it is. Creative
Inlet. Thank you.
We won't leave that in.
Okay, good. Thanks. I wouldn't want TL to see this, but yeah.
All right, Anthony, thank you so much for sitting with me, and congratulations. You're welcome. that's it for our time here at Sunflow. We hope you've enjoyed this exclusive look at their event. And if you couldn't make it out this time, be sure to catch them next year.
A big thank you to Brendan Rodgers, his crew, Epic Theaters, and the filmmakers who all did a fantastic job this year. Remember, if you would like the possibility to be featured on ICS, send us an email at icstv@yahoo.com.
And don't forget to follow us on our socials at ICS TV on Facebook and ICS TV Show on Instagram and Twitter. And don't forget to also check out our brand new website at IndieCinemaShowcase.com.
That's all the time we have for you on this episode of Indie Cinema Showcase. And as they say in the movie business,
That's a wrap. See you next time.